Oh my god, you guys. Look at this box. Look at this. Look at the design on this fucking deck box. I have been contemplating getting this, then not getting this. Liking it, not liking it, for various reasons. And I kind of decided to get it on a whim because I honestly think Danielle Noel is not given enough credit all the time. I mean, you know, people are going to be like, not given enough credit? She must be rich. She sold so many decks. She's like mass market produced even with some of her decks. But a lot of people, I feel, also kind of see her decks as purely aesthetically pleasing. And, you know, even I have sometimes, I'm going to be honest, I've sometimes thought about her in that way. And then this deck has a lot of things to it that I normally wouldn't go for. But this box is so stunning. So this is the Ocean Dreams Oracle, and it was written and illustrated by Danielle Noel, which makes it different from the mass market produced decks because they were written by Rebecca Campbell, and I don't necessarily love Rebecca's writing. But I did really, I love the art. I love this art style. She was kind of I mean, she didn't invent this art style, but in decks, she kind of did. And she's been copied many times by many other people, by many other gals, sometimes more successfully than others. But this is her Ocean Dreams Oracle, and it's a sacred call to awaken ancient wisdom within your oceanic heart. Imbued with healing waters and activating portals, the 64 cards, that's quite a lot for an Oracle deck, and included guidebook, are soulfully designed to nurture your daily reflections and inner whispers. So I had seen some images. I love all the imagery in this deck. But there weren't that many preview images, and that kind of bothered me. And when they did start to appear, there were a lot of card titles where I was like, this is going to be one of those guidebook heavy decks, isn't it? Look, the attention to detail is just stunning. Let me take all the contents out. There's a whole like story in here. It's stunning. So far, when I got this box just, I don't know, I'm gonna put it to the side, but this box just completely obliterated me. But I saw those card titles and I was like, this is gonna be an Alana Fairchild-esque affair where I'm going to be very, very reliant on the guidebook. And I don't like that. But before we get into the contents, you know, I mean, since we could act like we're all above aesthetics, obviously we're not. Look at this gilding. I don't know if the sparkle is seen, but this is the same type of gilding as that matte antique gold edging. So this does have that sparkle as well, but it's this gorgeous teal blue color, and I adore it. The backs look like this. It's very stunning. It's almost like there's a little face hidden in there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, or if it was just a coincidence, but I love that. You get a couple extra cards with the deck that have artwork on the fronts and then some text on the back. So this is sort of a thank you card. This is an invocation to Mother Ocean. I love it. I like it a lot. So you get those two. And then you get all the cards, 64. There's a lot. Let's make sure this is in the center. And then we get quite a thick guidebook. Now, what I like a lot is that this is written, you could read this front to back without even owning the deck and still enjoy it. So there's a bit about the creation of the deck, which is interesting. I mean, I'm not going to read it all to you, but it's really, really well written. It's like I said, it's a thick guidebook, but she uses her words wisely and with discernment, which is something I like. So you won't find 4-page entries for each card with a very muddy, watered-down message. Get my thumb there? That's not in this deck. So this is not an Alana Fairchild style deck in that sense, but it is a deck in that sense, because you kind of have to use the guidebook with most cards, which makes this a deck that I would primarily use for myself, and if I have some time to really take in the writing in the guidebook. This is not a deck that you use for quickie card pulls and, you know, instantly going like, oh yeah, that's that card, unless you study this deck by heart, which I could imagine quite a lot of people doing, actually. But I'm not going to do that. So there's a how to use the deck, which is really cute. Reading the transmissions is really interesting. You will see what that's about in a bit. 1 card readings, 3 card readings. Then we get Oracle spreads, and there is a shit ton of spreads in here. Also, the layout of this guidebook is a dream. So you got the Inner Waters spread, the Soul Spiral spread, which I did yesterday. It was stunning. The Portal, the Dream, and that's that basically. But that's quite a lot of custom spreads for an Oracle deck. Honestly, if you release an Oracle deck, an indie Oracle deck, you know, have some fun creating the guidebook. And she did that. There's a whole section on ritual work, which I haven't even read. So that's actually interesting. Creating an altar is a really fun little piece. She even included some pictures here. Casting a circle. Look, closing your circle. And then there's a picture of her personal altar, I think. So that's really cute. Clearing rituals. Lunar rituals. So there's a lot of meat to this guidebook. Star water ritual. So, you know, whether you subscribe to her messages or not, there's a lot of content, and it's short but very sweet and jam-packed with like very practical information. So that's cool. And then you get to the Oracle messages, and most cards will have 2 pages just like this. So you get some keywords up here. That's what I like. So if you still need to look them up, and she could have put them on the card, maybe, you know, increase the text box a little bit and put this on there. Then you get some sort of mantras or affirmations, and then you get sort of this big reflection question that I would personally use to think about or to meditate on or to journal. So it's not necessarily, I think, a deck for divining the future, divining what's to come, what possible outcomes there can be. You could use it like that, but this is way more about reflection. But what I also think is really cool, if you're like, meh, I'm not in a mood for all of that today, at the bottom here are 3 or sometimes 4 little keywords that kind of describe the overall energy of the card, and you could just use that and be done and do with that what you will. And once again, that could have been on the card, but what I've noticed working with this deck for a couple of days now is that this whole process of pulling the card, looking at the artwork, looking at the words on the card, taking my time, looking it up and reading the text, which I like, and the text is actually good, kind of changed the whole way I think about guidebook heavy decks, if you get what I'm saying. Because I always used to kind of piss on them, and I own a lot of them because usually, for some reason, those guidebook heavy decks have amazing art. Let me Alana Fairchild's White Light Oracle, Alana Fairchild's Isis and Kali. As shitty as those decks may be, I really love the art in them. Colette Baron-Reid's Mystical Shaman Oracle. You know? Although that is written a bit better than the Alana Fairchild. Alana Fairchild is a fabulous writer. She's a wordsmith, but the way she the way she forges her words just doesn't really resonate with me all the time. But Danielle's writing is really good. Like, honestly, I honestly sometimes wish Hay House would support her solo as much as they support Rebecca Campbell, but that's another story for another day, because this is top-notch quality. So you get that for every card. You get a couple keywords, you get some affirmations, some general info, a question, and more keywords right there at the bottom. So it's very usable, and I love the layout. You could even ignore the whole piece of text and just flick through the bottom pages, the bottom of the page, and look for the card title. They're all in alphabetical order, so it's very easy to find, and just do the whole reading with this bottom bit right here. So I think that is a very clever way of her to use her guidebook, use the space that she has, use her words. Now, every so often, watch me being unable to find, there will be a little surprise right here where it's card artwork in full, which I like. Sometimes there will be a card that will have 3 pages or 2.5 pages. I did see one earlier. Oh yeah, right here. So Shifting Fear gets a little bit more space, and then she will add an extra illustration. So each card will start on a brand new page, and I love that. So it's very easy to find. All the cards are always listed on the left, so you can flick through it, alphabetical order. If you do a guidebook heavy deck, this is how the guidebook should look, in my opinion. Like, this totally, from a layout and usage perspective. Then we get a thanks section. There's model credits, which I think is really cool. There was one that I really liked. I forget. Well, anyways, all the models are credited. All the models we see different body sizes, we see different skin tones. It's just stunning. And then there's a bit about Danielle and about the art. And then we get other works, and she actually did quite a lot. So she did the Star Child Akashic Edition, Moonchild Tarot, Starseed Oracle, Work Your Light Oracle, and Yogic Path Oracle. These are all mass market, and she was a co-author on those. And then she did some journals, and then she also did a book, the Book of Tarot. So, you know, and sometimes you will find cute messages at the bottom. You could almost use this book as an oracle book, because you could just find weird messages anywhere. As above, so below. The genesis of light. Sometimes she will put really zany things in there. It's really good quality. It's exactly the same material that my Oracle deck is going to be made out of, but this is not about that. So the cards are really pretty too. This, for example, is one that you can definitely read right away. Inner Strength makes sense. Still, I found that it's worth the time to look the page up in the guidebook. And I never say stuff like that. I'm always all about guidebooks are a waste of paper, save the trees, let your intuition do the talking. But this guidebook is good, y'all. The writing is really good. I will show you by maybe pulling a card and then reading the guidebook entry. Earth waters. So I've already seen the guidebook entry for this, so I know that it's more about grounding and, you know, coming back down to earth a little bit more. I do love this art, by the way. Look at how pretty this looks. But, you know, this is one of the more, like, not necessarily immediately sense-making ones. I'm gonna create 2 piles here. The okay for direct reading pile and the more nonsensical pile. Ocean Cradle is a card that I keep getting because also so fucking weird. This deck makes me want to play with it all day long. And I haven't had that in a while, which is weird because there are so many things about this deck that you guys will all know Levi doesn't like. It's overly femme. I mean, I like femme decks, but you know, I'm always looking for decks with men in them as well, and I think that that's important. It's guidebook heavy. I love it though. Ocean's Cradle, really, really pretty. But that's definitely a more nonsensical one. Transcendence, really, really like that as well. That's definitely one that you can read a little bit easier, I think. Akashic Waters, obviously, if you know a little bit about New Age theory and stuff, you will be able, you know what Akasha is and what the Akashic records are, but what are Akashic Waters? So this is definitely one of the more nonsensical ones. Beyond the Veil, also feel like it is more easy to read. I do love the way this looks. I hope you guys can see this well. I mean, I know I can, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Rite of Passage is definitely also one of the more easy to read ones. I love this illustration too. Like, it's so good. Unconditional Love, obviously, is one that you can very easily read. I love that in this deck, the illustrations are a little bit more open. Sometimes I feel like her illustrations can get a little, there's nothing wrong with that, but they can get a little busy. But here the vibe, the energy, it's very open, it's very soothing. So this is definitely one that you can easily read. Hope I didn't get 2 cards, no. It's also on rose petal finish cardstock, or soft touch lamination as they call it, but it's the kind that doesn't stick that bad. It doesn't stick that bad now, and it's still pretty new, and it's going to be even better if you use it more. Shadow Waters, you know, we kind of know what the shadow is, but what are shadow waters? So I'm going to put this in the not automatically sense-making pile. Regeneration, which I obviously love. I love that this is a coral reef. Coral reef regenerates, can regenerate over time if it gets enough nourishment. And there's a very ethereal quality to the artwork. Sometimes we see these, you know, especially with the imitators, the Danielle Noel imitators, we see that that there's not good flow in the artwork. But here it is, Sovereignty. I love it. I love how this wave turns into that spiral shell. Really pretty. Definitely one that we can read easy as well. Luminous Path. I mean, it's kind of an in-betweener. I would say that as a reader, I'm curious to know what Danielle considers a luminous path. So I'm going to put this in the not necessarily easy to read pile. Open Channel, that one is definitely easy to read, and I love the imagery in this. This is where we get a bit more classic Danielle Noel, I think, with the mirrored image, and I do love it though. I still don't think it's too busy. I think it's gorgeous. Divine Spiral, I love this as well. This is one of the harder to read ones. I do love the way this imagery looks. It's almost like I could pick this up from the card, but it's definitely a bit more difficult to read. Water Priestess, stunning. Stunning. Do I know what a Water Priestess is straight away? No, but it looks really cool. Melusina, I don't know what that is. But then again, I love the art. And for some reason, I'm not bugged by the fact that I have to look this up. Atlantean Dream. I think I have an idea what the Atlantean Dream might be, but I've been reading up a lot on Atlantis and Lemuria and the Akashic Records, and does that mean that I ascribe to all of those ideas? Per se, no, but I've been reading about it. But for a novice reader, this would be difficult to read out of the box. Magnetic Heart, I feel like, is kind of readable straight away. We get this gorgeous landscape, where you can kind of ask yourself, is it underwater? Is it above? Is it both? Stunning. Very nice layered images. Emergence, this is one of the preview cards I saw that did make me go like, ooh, yes, I like this. I like this a lot. I can read with this straight away. And then, and then I found out later that there were more abstract cards in there as well. And I decided that for this deck, I was fine with that. Nectar of Life, I feel like I can read that as well. But, this is all very personal. Pearls of Wisdom, feel like I can read that as well. This is really stunning, guys. Inner Alchemy, feel like I can kind of read that as well. And the artwork is very stunning. I've heard some people say they think it's all a bit samey, which I can understand, but I don't agree. Cleansing Waters. I love this card, and I can read this easily as well. So the reading easily pile is pretty big already, so that's good. Move with Ease. Look, there's this lady laying on top of this huge whale or shark or whatever it is. And there's so many layers. I like layers. Lemurian Waters. Pretty. Don't exactly know what that means. I did really like this one. Clear Waters. I was like, okay, these are waters, but I understand what they are. We can see straight ahead. Everything's clear. Everything's good. The Unveiling. Very pretty. Very, very neat. What is being unveiled to you right now? Stunning. Astral Waters was one where I was kind of like, what does that mean? So that goes in the in the nope pile. But nope doesn't necessarily mean bad here. It just means it's going to take a while for me to understand. This also was one of my favorite cards when I opened the box. Inner Compass is stunning artwork. I think it's just seriously really good. Self-Love was one that I instantly got as well. I think it's really pretty. Mermaid is, I know what a mermaid is, but I don't necessarily get divinatory associations with that word. So this is definitely a nope pile. And also, this is the only piece of artwork where I maybe expected a little bit more, especially when we have an art card in here that has is it a mermaid? Well, that kind of gives me more mermaid vibes than the actual mermaid card. But hey, you can't have it all, can you? But that goes in the nope pile. No Regrets, however. I love all these archways. This goes in the yes pile. Really stunning. Maybe this is also sort of almost a build your own deck situation where I will end up with a really readable pile that's pretty chunky that I could use on its own, even maybe, if I wanted to. Ancient Emissaries. I do know a little bit about whale and dolphin lore and how when it comes to New Age stuff. So I could read this, but if I'm being honest, someone who's gets this and who's still very fresh when it comes to divination probably won't. Whispers of Time. Like that a lot. Sometimes I just really dig the pastels and the pinks, and I just like it. Whispers of Time is cool. This is definitely something that I feel like most people should get associations with. So I'm going to put that in the yes pile. Nurture Yourself, very easily readable. Stunning illustration, probably one of my favorites in the whole deck as well. The sharpness of the photos and the layering and the blending, it's really people forget. I tried making a Danielle Noel-esque deck like this with dudes, and it's difficult, let me tell you that. It really is. It's not as easy as you'd think. Storm definitely gives me major associations, and I love that there are more difficult, hard-hitting cards in here sometimes. It's not all fluff. Even with the guidebook entries for more fluffy cards, there are these hard-hitting reflection questions, so that's really cool. So that's a yes. Inner Sanctum, I feel like, is also a definite yes card for me. So it's turning out to be a pretty workable deck so far, the deck that I'm building right now. I didn't know this was going to turn into a deck building. I mean, the whole package is a great deck, don't get me wrong, but Voyage, definitely getting like major Six of Swords vibes here. Definitely a yes pile one, right? Shapeshifter, also for me, definite yes pile. There's so much to see here. It's like I'm looking into a kaleidoscope. I adore it. I think this is really cool because I'm seeing all kinds of new things in here that I didn't see before. So that's really cool. Temple of Dreams. I mean, that's a nope pile for me. I mean, I can think about my dreams, but what is a Temple of Dreams, you know? Same with Mother Ocean. I know what mother means. I know what an ocean can mean. But I'm going to put that in the nope pile as well. And once again, nope doesn't mean bad. Nope just means not getting direct hits. Temple of the Sea. Adore that. This is the illustration that sold me on the deck because it was the box cover. I don't know what the Temple of the Sea is, though, so I'm going to put that in the nope pile. So it's not based on artwork. It's not based on how pretty the card is. It's about instant usability. The Calling is definitely a yes for me. Definitely a yes. Yeah. This is really stunning. Like, I'm seeing this woman sitting here, and I'm almost seeing her ancestors around her pushing her in the right direction. So that's really cool. Restful Pause is a definite yes for me, where she's sitting in this, chilling in this infinity pool. Wow. Convergence. That's definitely a yes as well. We get a lot of really cool, bold choices, even though it's all very pastel-y. The color choices really inspire me. The Source, I feel like, is also a yes card for me. The source of all, that is. Protection as well. Yeah, this was a card where I was like, girl, who's that model? Because it's a really interesting, and I don't know if this model was credited, so it's most likely a stock photo. Protection. Yeah, this is not, this one's not credited. So this is a stock photo, but this looks really cool. And I feel like this is a masculine looking figure right there. Recalibration as well, another really great one. However, I do feel like this does look a lot like the Convergence card. So I feel like these may be a bit too samey for me. So when people say that this is samey, I get that. Like, these are very similar. However, the words, we're especially looking at the words right now. Waves of Change, I feel like I can read with that as well. Deep Mysteries, I feel like I can definitely read with that as well. Like, immediately, instantly, love the way there's this earthiness around this gate, but then we're underwater, but then there's also a moon. How does that happen? It's really cool. Familiar Hearts, I feel like I can read with that as well. This is one of my favorites as well. I love belugas. They're the cutest ever. It's almost like this card is radiating light and life, if you know what I mean. The Abyss. Now, this may be a more abstract term for some. Am I holding two cards right now? No, it's just a thick cardstock. The cardstock quality is really good, by the way. It's 400 GSM. It's pretty flexible, pretty bendy. It's really good quality. The Abyss, I feel like I can read with immediately. I mean, this art speaks as much as the word does. We've hit rock bottom, right? So yeah, the yes pile is growing and growing, and I'm gonna add to it with Total Bliss, Living Library. So this is a more abstract term. I feel like I know what this means, but then again, I would want to do a little bit more research. So actually, the pile of cards that I have to research right now is way smaller than the pile of instant hits for me. So Temple of Light, all these temples, y'all, I wanna I wanna know what she's talking about. So I'm gonna read up on that. Healing Waters. I'm totally understanding what that is and loving the illustration. Lunar Waters is a stunning card, especially with that water pouring down from that moon, but I'm going to put it away. Sacred Vow, that's a definite yes for me. And yes, as in I understand this and I can work with this. Dreamgate, nope, don't know what that is. Sacred Chalice, stunning Ace of Cups card, don't know what that is. Heart Libations, I mean, I'm not a native speaker of English, so I don't know what a libation is. So I should probably look that up. I'm near native though, so I should know, but I don't. I don't know what celestial waters are, but it's a stunning, like, once again, I love all the artwork. Oceanic Beloved, also have to research that. And then Shifting Fear is definitely one that I can immediately read with. And that leaves us with a pretty big pile of instantly readable cards. Let's see. So it's actually a really good mix of, you know, instant knowing and maybe a bit of studying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 38, 39, 40. So that's actually enough for me. Like, I could use this as a deck. 40 cards Oracle deck works for me. And then we get those 24 sort of more difficult cards. I don't really feel like I'm in the mood to read y'all a whole guidebook entry right now, but you know, I'm gonna shuffle the deck. Shuffle's fine, by the way. I did notice though, that it doesn't bridge too well. You have to be kind of careful with applying pressure. I do have other 400 GSM coreless decks that I don't have that problem with. So I should probably get used to me not... Well, I can riffle it, but me not bridging this too much. Because I did feel like it was a bit too supple. And when the pressure isn't applied evenly, or when you're not super mindful about your shuffling, you could very easily bend the deck. Once again, it's going fine now. Maybe I was just in a bad mood yesterday where I wasn't shuffling as mindfully as I am now. Ooh, we get the Divine Spiral, which is definitely a card that I didn't immediately like resonate with. I did resonate with the art, not the guidebook. And I should hurry up a little bit because it's getting a bit dark here. But not dark enough where you can't see what I'm doing, so that's good. Divine Spiral. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole guidebook for you. It's a lot. But what I look at mostly is... the Divine Spiral is the blueprint of life, a greater outlook, Fibonacci sequence, golden ratio. I'm expanding my perspective. I see the bigger picture. I am an ever-blooming spiral of miracles. How can I simplify my approach or perspective? Sacred geometry, simplicity equals expansion. So with those words, with just that, I have so much to think about for tonight that I'm going to call it a day. This has been Levi. This has been my review of the gorgeous Ocean Dreams deck. by Danielle Noel. And good night, y'all. Bye-bye.